Welcome to the Thrive Club Co podcast. This episode that you're about to listen to is from the archives before our rebrand to Thrive Club Co. But the message we delivered then is still aligned with our core mission and core message today. Enjoy.
Episode 1, how we're more similar than different. And by the way, meet my friend, Neuroplasticity. Welcome to episode 1. This is so exciting to have this podcast out now. After a long time, a lot of effort and hard work, a lot of realigning and affirming, a lot of focus to finally have this out now for you to hear, for this community to build and flourish as we help each other thrive to live our best lives. I'm incredibly joyful and grateful for this moment with you right now. So first off, thank you for listening, and let's get into it. It's such a growing topic of conversation, survival mode. To be in survival mode for so long, perhaps even when you don't realize it, and one day you find yourself needing a change. Maybe it's your rock bottom, or you just know somehow that life should be better. And from there, you begin to expand into what it truly means to thrive and rid yourself from the cycle of survival. Since this is episode 1, I feel it's only right to give you some background info about me, because as a first-time listener, what makes me qualified to talk about these types of topics? Simply put, I lived through and experienced all of which I talk about. I prefer to speak from a place of firsthand experience. And from my experience, that has often been met with learning from quote unquote the hard way. I truly believe that through personal anecdotes, it sheds a lot of light on how the fact that we're much more similar than we are different. And we share stories and growth and journeys with one another. It helps us grow collectively. The whole story of It's a Thrive and starting this platform began back in 2022. I was itching to start some type of wellness brand and had half a dozen ideas total probably for different avenues of projects and companies, but I didn't feel that any of them were getting to a root issue of actually helping others on a fundamental level. I had this idea of what is now It's a Thrive could look like, but it wasn't clear yet, and I didn't have the definition really of what that purpose was and how vital it was to help others. So my journey really catapulted a few years ago, where I was in a deeply toxic and abusive relationship. And while I knew that an ever-growing part of me wanted to leave, I just didn't know how, which is the case for many women and men in that type of situation. So one day after a flight traveling from coast to coast, I returned home and I planned to summon the courage and finally pack my bags and leave. I thought I had it all mapped out. That day just turned into my big breakdown. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, I had broken down. I was completely broken. And as destitute and depressing as that may sound, and trust me, it really felt like it at the time, it was also one of my greatest blessings in disguise, because when you hit rock bottom, it forces you to choose one of two things. One, I continue to feel entrenched in this darkness, abuse, depression, and pain, and continue to be a victim. Or two, I commit to really changing myself first to get better, to feel better, and to be better. I chose the latter of the two, and unknowingly at the time was choosing what would ultimately save my life and spark the creation of a business rooted in helping other people and undergo the most difficult journey and remain accountable for my life and my happiness. So needless to say, this was truly the catalyst for It's a Thrive and the podcast that you are currently listening to in this moment. And something drew you here to this page, to this channel, and whatever that may be is uniquely yours. Maybe you feel like you are at your own rock bottom, or maybe you've done a boatload of healing work and want to know how to keep it up or discover what's the next step for you. Or maybe you're looking for just a relatable community. Whatever your reason is for being here right now, I thank you. And please take a moment to thank yourself. Honor yourself in this very moment that you are actively choosing something beneficial to your own journey. Because most people talk and talk some more about making change in their lives, yet remain in a negative cycle. While that may have possibly been your past, as it was once mine too, it is not your present moment, nor is it your future, because you are here right now, choosing you. And I celebrate you for that. My goal of this podcast in its entirety is to connect with this ever-growing community. Part of that is demonstrating how we're more similar than we are different. Embracing vulnerability is scary, to say the least, but it's in these moments, these anecdotes, that we can learn from each other and grow. We are truly only one mindset switch away from thriving in our best lives. And yes, I'm going to say the cliche saying that if I can do this, then trust me, so can you. So in addition to the background of It's a Thrive and a little introduction about me, today we're talking about the basis of mindset, particularly reshaping mindset with the help of our little neuroscience friend, neuroplasticity. I'm going to give you a moment to think if you've ever heard of neuroplasticity, because I sure hadn't until my therapist brought it up to me. Quick pin. Part of the deal I had made to myself during my rock bottom breakdown of getting help was going back to therapy regularly. Maybe as much as I didn't want to, I had to promise myself and keep myself accountable that I would go every single week. Anyways, I had never heard of it until my blessing of a therapist, Terry, started talking with me about it each week through all of the hurdles and the ups and downs and a lot of 1 step forward and 5 step backs, as is the case really with healing journeys and life journeys in general. I kept going forward and it just kept getting brought up. And I asked her, what is that? She said, neuroplasticity. It's the rewiring of your brain through these little neurons and synapses in your brain. You are actively restructuring it every day, every moment, every choice that you make to choose something differently, to change your mindset, to change your thoughts, to change your behaviors, to change how you speak. Those changes that you are habitually, repeatedly doing that right now don't come natural to you because the consistency over time and the malleability of our minds, you're incorporating neuroplasticity to change. You're able to change yourself. We are not static creatures. We have a beautiful blessing of the brain to be able to rewire and restructure itself. Neuroplasticity, really in a nutshell, what gets reinforced strengthens. What does not get reinforced over time weakens. So it's the number of neurons and synapses that form during our first few years of life that are pivotal to our cognitive development and ultimately how our brain and behavior forms. So over time, we can absorb from environmental factors more negative-based behaviors, which over time make their way through our formation into adulthood, which is where the difficult, yet not impossible, challenge of restructuring those same synapses that form those unwanted thought behavior patterns earlier in life. There is a plethora and ever-growing amount of research on neuroplasticity and how our brains function, and it's absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible what the human mind can truly do. But no one said it was easy. No one said it would be easy. And I think that's where a lot of people lose faith and lose the hope, because it's not an easy choice to make every single day. But the liberty in it is that it is your choice. No matter your circumstances, it is your choice to choose. Because all of us are deserving of a better life. All of us are deserving to live a beautiful, happy, thriving life. No matter what we're born into, if we're born into a household where there's arguments and yelling, these things that we see growing up, unfortunately, as children growing up and carrying into our adulthood that shapes our lives, it doesn't have to be that way. And it was really when I learned about neuroplasticity and realized, holy shit, this is incredible. And to read the research behind it was absolutely mind-blowing and powerful. And I thought, why the hell does no one else know about this? Why does no one else know about this? This is incredible to be able to do this. And I think when I was first introduced to it, it was incredible and amazing, but it wasn't until over time I started to actually see the changes and people around me and then my close friends, and then my family, to the point where you become an unrecognizable person of who you previously were. The malleability and the flexibility that we have to not feel stuck in our own environment is one of our greatest gifts and our greatest powers internally. And it's within that power that we're able to unlock the freedom of a more fulfilling, thriving life. Think of one action that you do that you want to improve on, or a negative thought behavior about your appearance. If every time you look into a mirror and you're unhappy with how you look, whether you believe it or not in that moment, tell yourself that, damn, I look good. Damn, I'm beautiful. Damn, I'm handsome. Say, I look good today. Whether you wake up in the morning and that is not how you actually feel, tell yourself that. Think it in your mind, and then use the muscles in your tongue and in your breath and speak it. That muscle and the articulation and the brain thought behavior is creating a new pattern. You have to stay consistent with it, but give it a week. Every time you pass by in the mirror, if that's something that you struggle with, which, let's not kid ourselves, all of us at one point or another have dealt with that, or maybe are currently feeling it right now. Wake up so that every time you pass by that mirror, whether you feel it or not, say, damn, I look good. I look fine right now. Speak it into existence. Rewire the brain. And you can use this across the board with absolutely anything. This is how affirmations speak itself into existence, because you're taking something that you're speaking, thinking it, creating a verbal behavior thought interaction, this new pattern. You are reforming parts of your brain, parts of your thoughts, parts of your belief system. You have the control to restructure them. And it's incredible. Neuroplasticity is such a powerful thing. It truly is. So I look forward to sharing more on this topic with you. This is the little taste of it to just kick off this series. And I am so excited to hear feedback and commentary from all of you. So make sure that you like and follow and share and comment. Let me hear what you have to think. Drop a comment and let me know. Thanks for listening to episode 1 of It's a Thrive podcast. Your host here, Jordan Jade. It has been an absolute pleasure talking with you today. We are beyond a vibe. It is a thrive. See y'all next time.